you. Come on in. Welcome to the Scumm Bar. Welcome to the Scumm Bar Podcast, where we talk movies, video games, pop culture, books, Pakistan, and everything in between. I'm your host, Mattbrush, and with me today, a very, very special guest from the dark recesses of a volcano. We had to airlift him out of there. I bring you today
Anth0z.
Did you say a volcano?
A volcano.
Oh, I swear you said a volcano.
A balding volcano.
It's kind of like how you call it an onion. Oh, I can't even say it.
Onion.
That's difficult.
What do you call it?
An onion.
Onion.
Without the G.
Onion. I guess maybe I do that. Interesting.
You do that?
I do. Do you?
Oh, that's my friend's reference already. It's when,
oh, no way.
When Chandler was he was interviewing for the new job, and then Phoebe was the one, I think, because he did doo-doo and he did duties. I think Phoebe was the one that did the doo-doo one. So like she was giving him whatever like kind of potential interview questions, and then I think she asked him, why don't we? Or she said something like, why don't we go over the roles that you do? And then, so that was, and then like nice sidestep on the doo-doo thing. So anyway.
All right, well, there's our friend's reference
that's
already.
The reference, right
we got
off the
5
top.
minutes into it, and you already have a friend's
It's a
reference.
world record.
All right, Anth0z, would you like to hear a pirate joke?
Only if you reference Pakistan, because you said that we talk about it in our tagline.
We will talk about Pakistan, I promise you. It'll just be at some point in the show.
Then I can close this tab, then I don't have
Okay.
to look up Pakistan news.
First I saw okay, good. First I saw a pirate quote, which is not the joke, so let me just say this. To err is to human. To R is to pirate.
Aww.
I like that.
That's so poetic.
It is. Okay, here we go. Timing for the joke. Are you ready? Get your funny bone set.
Yep.
Primate. Here we go.
Primate?
Optimus Primate?
Optimus Primate.
Prime. How do pirates pay for a round of rum down at the pub?
Wait, say it again?
How do pirates pay for a round of rum down at the pub?
With balloon doubloons? I don't know.
With bar nickels. Bar nickels.
I get it.
Hard.
Bar nickels. All right.
I hope you like that one.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
That one took me a little while to find, to be honest. And when I found it, I was like, that's the one.
That one took me a little while to understand, but that's the one.
I actually lost it while I was reading it, too. I was like, it doesn't really make sense. And I was like, oh, wait, no, it does. It does make sense.
And then you threw me off because then you like the way that you phrase everything. Like when you were saying what bar, I was picturing like chocolate bar, gold bar, like what kind of bar, a crowbar. And then when you said nickel, I did not connect it to bar knuckle like whatsoever, and I just couldn't get it. But
Yeah.
I got it.
Anth0z, let's just jump right into ye old news.
All right.
What is the news, Anth0z?
I'm not sure if you noticed in our video chat, but my fingers have this little splint on it.
I did notice. What the heck? When did you do that?
Last night during a very deadly game of dodgeball.
Oh no.
And it was week 3, but it's my first week back. And so I think it was our second match into the night, and we played like how many? Like 12 or 15 or 16 matches. So second match into the night, and this happens. I thought maybe it was just a slight sprain that was swollen, and then overnight it would just kind of heal a bit. Woke up this morning and it was hurting more. The swelling was bigger than it was last night. And then, went to the doctor. He said, go get an x-ray. Went to get an x-ray. They told me while I was getting the x-ray, like, oh, yeah, I see a hairline fracture. Can you turn your hand? I'm like, what? So, like, they took, like, a few images, and then they said, okay, we're gonna send you to emergency because we want to make sure that it's like the bone is set right, that it's not displaced. Like, holy, like this. Jeez. Like what I thought was gonna be just a small sprain from a dodgeball accident turns out to be something that, like, I literally broke my bone, and now I have to see a hand specialist tomorrow morning
to
see if, like, I assume that it's just gonna be really just like keeping it in the splint, like keeping it in place, and for the next 4 to 6 weeks. But that's pretty much like majority of the dodgeball season, so by the time I'm ready to play, it'll be playoffs, so that'll be interesting to get back into.
Wow. Then again, so it serves you right for doing the exact opposite of the main concept of that game.
That is true. I guess 99% of me dodged, the 1% of me didn't.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. All right, you're right. 99% of you was totally fine and safe. The 1%. So yeah, the 1% is paying dearly with its life. So there you go.
A month.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that. That really sucks. And if anybody else could see Anth0z's damaged finger right now, they would feel sorry for you as well.
Although at the same time, I feel like this would make a good, it would kind of work to put a black glove on, and I would look like one of those like ninjas. And it's just in time for Halloween.
Like a Teenage Mutant Ninja?
Ooh, I didn't think about that. Yeah. Not even a turtle, it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja. Hold the turtle.
Exactly. You have to be a little bit younger.
Yeah. No shell,
3
regular
eyes.
skin.
Teenage Mutant Ninja.
Multicolored headband.
All right, Anth0z. Did you know that Pakistan beat Sri Lanka by 5 wickets?
Wait, is this in cricket?
That was going to be my follow-up question, is can you guess which sport this is?
I assume that's cricket.
I don't even know. I tried to do a Control F to see if cricket was on there, and it wasn't, so you're probably right. The photos look like cricket.
Sorry, what are the points called? Wickets?
Wickets.
A wicket.
Pakistan beats Sri Lanka by 5 wickets. So,
cool.
And it wins an ODI series 2-0.
ODI. Over the I can't
dungeon.
I can't do ODI.
Over dungeon introspect.
All right, you got it. You win this round, Mattbrush.
All right. Okay, well, you gave me news. Wait, did you give me news? You gave me news about yourself.
Give me news about me. I do have some relevant news for.
All right, you go for the relevant news.
Do you have any news that you want to go through?
I've got some news, but it's not as important as your news. You go ahead.
Okay. Well, this is kind of cool, actually. Just found out. I think this was tweeted today or yesterday. So there is one Nintendo PlayStation that is up for auction currently.
Is it the one when Nintendo and PlayStation worked together trying to make one console?
Yeah, exactly. So it was they teamed up and they were working on a CD-ROM addition to the SNES. So this is back in the 80s. But then I think because maybe halfway through, after producing 200 of them, Nintendo realized that the result would be Sony would have too much control. Yeah. And so they backed out of the whole deal. So the 200 went on. I don't know what happened to the 200. Well, I guess the 199, but one ended up in private hands and is now up for auction.
It's funny. I feel like I'm having deja vu. It wasn't that long ago when this same story came out. There was somebody else selling one of these. Like, I want to say 3 years ago or so. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we weren't doing our podcast back then, so that one doesn't count.
Good point. Fine, whatever. But but no, these things are actually really cool because the story is Sony. A lot of people don't really realize, but they didn't like the deal going on with Nintendo, so they went independent and created their own console with the tech they already made for Nintendo. So then they started the CD technology, which then Nintendo refused to even do in general and went to N64 with its cartridges still. And then so PlayStation ended up stealing a lot of Nintendo's clients by making a superior kind of disc, which could hold a lot more information for their games. But what also makes it fun, though, is Nintendo still did really well with cartridges because Nintendo knows how to make games, too. So it was actually a really good competing market. Mm-hmm. But that's really interesting. It's a cool little bit of trivia people forget, but Nintendo and PlayStation are a little bit more friendly than, let's say, Nintendo and Xbox or PlayStation and Xbox. But that would be one of the reasons
why. Xbox have some sort of relationship? that we
Not
know
that
about?
I know of. No, they've
okay.
almost never teamed up. The closest you might have is. No, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Oh, maybe the fact that Banjo and Kazooie were like Rare was off at Microsoft, and then Rare went to Nintendo.
Oh.
So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's kind of back and forth there. That might be the closest connection I can think of. That's it, though.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's all there ever will be. All right, trivia.
Oh, that's sad.
I mean, news.
I do have a few more.
Okay, well, I've got
Okay,
some.
yep.
So I'm going to
Good.
steal your thunder for a second. Birds of Prey trailer that I mentioned last time.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real thing now. Did you see it?
It's real. Yeah, I did see it.
Oh, what did you think?
It wasn't entirely what I expected. I think mainly because what's the tagline? Something about like the Chronicles
the
of
something Emancipation of Harley Quinn.
That's right, the Emancipation of Harley Quinn. So I guess because like her name specifically is in the title, like I guess going into it, I was thinking, oh, it's probably going to be like a very equal movie. But because only her name is in the title, I'm thinking I guess it's more just focused around her, and she's bringing aboard these other girls to just be with her. So not that that's bad, but I just going into it, I was thinking, cool, like I'm going to see this like a female Justice League or Suicide Squad kind of movie, but now not so much. And I don't know. You go.
Yeah, to me, okay, well, to be honest, Suicide Squad came out. I liked Will Smith, just like everybody else did. I didn't really like Harley Quinn. Now, I think she's doing good acting in it. I just don't like the character that much. So,
Okay,
yes,
that's fair.
she is true to the character, but to me, I just don't really want to watch Harley Quinn all that much. So, watching this trailer, there's a lot of that where I'm just like, I don't really care about Harley Quinn. But
Is she true to the character though? Because
I don't know. I assume she is based on the little I know about Harley Quinn.
Oh, I see. Okay, because like the Harley Quinn that I recall from like the few comics I've read, I guess mainly the Batman animated series, but the Harley Quinn that I remember isn't really much of a. Okay, the one that we see in Suicide Squad, played by Margot Robbie, to me seems like a little bit on the like floozy side, and I
Right.
hate
Okay,
to
I
say,
thought
like,
she was like that.
Okay,
Are you
well,
saying she's a Scarlet Woman?
I don't know what a Scarlet Woman means, but I wanted to say the politically incorrect term. She's like a dumb blonde, quote
Well,
unquote.
Uncorrect isn't even a word, so I don't even know what you're saying anymore, Anthony.
Well, even
You've just
better.
taken
So
crazy
whatever
pills
I'm saying, it
today.
really doesn't matter. But I guess like the way that I see her character in Suicide Squad is kind of like that, where she doesn't really. It's almost like she doesn't really think things through like at all. Whereas in the comics and in the show, I remember her still being like fairly rational in some way.
See, I didn't know that. To me, she's always been incredibly irrational and is like the Joker in that sense. Like, she's literally just a girl Joker to me. So seeing
Right.
her being a floozy, seeing her being like promiscuous, and seeing her not really putting much thought to things, but things working out anyways, was
Yeah.
very Joker-esque to me, and I just kind of took that as that's what her character is. So, I mean, yeah, maybe there's a lot more to her character than that. I don't know much about it. So to me, which is more like the mass audiences watching this, she's very true to the character, even though she's probably not.
Okay, well that's fine. I mean, like I could be definitely wrong. I've only read like so much about her, right? So
You could also be definitely right.
I could also be definitely either or.
Yes.
So
What is definitely happening in this movie, though, is Ewan McGregor is in it. And it's awesome.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean,
He
honestly,
is.
I could care less about this movie. But the fact that Ewan McGregor's in it, I have such a bias for him. So I want to see it now.
Speaking of Ewan McGregor,
What? Did you say Ewan? You said Ewan
said-
McGregor. You said
I
correctly.
said Ewan. I don't say Ewan. I don't say
I say
onion.
I say Ewan.
Ewan. Ewan McGregor.
Get over here, Ewan.
Ewan McGregor.
Now that is a name I haven't heard in a long
A
time.
long time. So I watched a movie recently, and there was a trailer of Doctor Sleep, which he
Oh
is
yeah, I
starring
saw
in.
that. Yeah, that's the sequel to Hamlet.
That is
What's that movie called?
The Shining.
Thank
the
you.
The Shiny Ham.
The Shiny
is what it's
Hamlet.
called. The Shiny Ham. Yeah, so he's gonna be starring in that. He plays Dan Torrance, struggling with alcoholism, who remains traumatized by the sinister events that occurred at the Overlook Hotel when he was a child. So I never actually watched The Shining. I didn't read The Shining. I didn't read Doctor Sleep. I didn't even know that there was a sequel. But now knowing that he's in it and there's a sequel coming, I think it's November 1st is when it's coming out. I want to try and read.
There's an
The
actual
Shining
book. There's
and
a book
Dr.
sequel.
Sleep. And yeah, there's a book sequel.
Oh, I had no
exactly.
idea. I did not know that.
I think it came like 20 years later or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but I want to read them both, and I want to watch The Shining before Doctor Sleep comes out in November, which is very unlikely because it took me.
You're on a Stephen King kick this year. You got It going on, and now you got The Shining happening.
Oh, that's true, but I kind of broke it up because I'm reading The Two Towers. I gotta finish that.
The Two Towers, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I've been reading that for like a month because
that's hilarious. I just finished that.
Oh, the book? The
yeah,
movie?
like the whole Lord of the Rings. But yeah, I just went through the whole series.
Oh, nice. I started reading them so far back, but I just haven't had time to read them consistently. And
okay, like you finished Fellowship and you're going to the Two Towers, or did you just pick up Two Towers one day and you're like, I'm going to start here?
I started with Fellowship.
Okay.
Then I went to Two Towers. So the thing is, like, I want to finish Two Towers and then read Return of the King before I move on to The Shining.
Good plan.
Otherwise, I feel like I'm just kind of just going way too all over the place. But
I actually am reading a series right now, and between each book, I read a different book. So for me, I'm actually kind of used to that formula. So I'll read the first one, and then I'll read something else, and then I'll read the second one, and then read something else, and that really works for me as a reader because then I get to keep reading other stuff, but then also finish series. Series.
Yep. Series.
So I recommend it. I think it works really well. So when you finish Two Towers, read Doctor Sleep or Doctor No or Doctor Evil even. Whichever one.
That actually reminds me because you told me a little while back to read Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim.
Don't trust that guy. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, I took his advice.
Oh.
And I hate him. No, it's not that bad.
Secret of Nim or Rats of Nim or which one was it?
The movie is called The Secret of Nim, but the book is called Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of Nim.
Right, yes. I read that in grade 7. Does that make you feel better about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading a lot of books over the past year, which like were read by students in elementary and high school. I'm just doing it because one, I know that like they were picked as part of the curriculum for a reason, and I guess they were pretty thought-provoking. And reading them now that I can understand stuff, I can see why, and I really enjoyed reading them. So, that's why I wanted to go back and read the books that I knew of as being dubbed classics and things like that. Yeah. That's why I read like Little Women, Animal Farm, 1984.
These women, how little are they? Actually, what's funny is the other book in that is The Shining. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's why those two were on my list.
On.
Because no, they were though. They like as soon as they had that episode, it was in the middle of me and my whole like I gotta read books all over again, and then I instantly added them to my list. So
all blank and no blank makes blank a blank blank. Oh my gosh, I forgot all about that.
We got multiple references today.
Look at what you've done. You got me throwing in friends references. I'm ruined. My reputation is ruined.
I have a friend who she's pretty much like she's more of a diehard Friends fan than I am. So I told her that we do this like every episode. I think she wants to watch or like listen to our podcast solely because she wants to hear our references.
This is a private podcast. No one's allowed to listen to this except for you and me.
Yeah, I better tell my friends then.
Okay, yeah, you better lock it down now. All right, with that, do you have any other amazing news? Because we haven't talked about the big one though. Do you want to talk about the big one?
Ooh, it's the big one.
The big earthquake. The San Andreas Fault is clacking along.
Just click, clacking. You go.
Like a train. You go, Hugo. I'll go.
Go.
Spider-Man is now out of the MCU. And then guess what? He's back in, just like that.
And there he is.
He's in. Yay!
And the crowd doesn't care as much to what we've seen.
Yeah, no one really seems to care. You know what's weird? Because I was really excited that Sony said no, because it was like the first people to stand up to Disney. But I'm very happy with the outcome of this. Like, I would so much rather Spider-Man be in the MCU. I'm just glad that Sony said no. It was like finally someone saying no. And now they came to some sort of agreement. And that's awesome. But I was a little bit like, what the heck is Marvel going to do? And now forever, I'm going to wonder, like, what was Marvel going to do if they didn't get Spider-Man back?
Yeah. Now, did you see anything about... and just like me, I read the article title but didn't read the article. Something about Spider-Man playing two different versions. So he's going to play a Sony version and an MCU version.
What? No, I didn't know anything about that.
What?
That is awful.
Let's see. Different... Oh, it's so hard to type with my fingers.
Oh my gosh,
together.
Use your nose like everyone else.
But I don't want to get the grease on my keyboard.
From your nose?
Yeah, my nose oil. That's where all the blackheads.
You're supposed to bottle up that oil and sell it on the black market. The Black Hat Market. Hey!
Hey-oh! Zing. Now I can't even find the article, and it's going to take me forever to type.
Spider-Man will remain playing one Spider-Man for all of Spider-Man. I can only imagine that Sony would really like to branch off into the Miles Morales stuff and into the Venom and into the Carnage and all that kind of stuff, while Marvel probably doesn't want to do that as much, and Marvel probably wants to keep Spider-Man around but not throw in all the other people as much. Maybe like Norman Osborn, but not like pepper him in, just pepper him. While
just pepper pots him.
Pepper pots him. While Sony just wants to dump it all in there, makes a big soup, So that's my analogy, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, cool. I like it.
Marvel's making a beautiful steak and just peppering it, Sony's making a soup
versus chopping it up and making a stew.
You walk into the Sony development studios and you just smell and you go, someone's making soup.
Oh, it's soupney.
Yep, soupney.
Anyway,
all right. Well, moving on. Let's get to our first topic. Anth0z, would you like to take the first topic? Let's rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, is this possible? All right, let's try it.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I can't see yours. Oh, we're both scissors. Okay, cool.
Okay, here we go. You do it now.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors. Oh! Nice.
All right,
I
beat you is what that means, which means that I get to go first.
Cool. Somebody call it this time.
Sucker! So here we go. I get to go first. Here is my topic. Are you ready for this?
All right.
I'm going to say 2 words and it's going to blow your mind.
You just said it's going to blow your mind. I can't count, but that was
I haven't
5
started
letters.
yet. Here's
5
my
words.
2 words. You ready?
Okay. You ready is 2 words.
Harry Potter.
The boy who lived.
The boy who lived. So I've got a lot of different things I want to talk about Harry Potter. So as we just established before, I just finished Lord of the Rings. So naturally, I was thinking, okay, what do I move on to next? And annually, I listen to the audiobooks of Lord of the Rings, The Martian. Annually? Like, I love Lord of the Rings. So annually, Lord of the Rings on audiobook, The Martian, and... So, well, it seems like it, because last year was it, and this year was it. And then also now, Harry Potter. So Harry Potter I went through 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago, last year, and now this year. So I'm in the middle of my audiobook annual kind of Harry Potter thing. I'm just finishing Goblet of Fire now.
Nice.
And I just thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I really want to just talk about Harry Potter, because I'm so into it at this moment.
I'm so tired of listening to it. I want to talk about it.
I'm just so into it because it's so... good. So there's 5 different things I want to talk about with Harry Potter, and we'll go through it together because I know that you like
books?
Harry Potter as well.
I love Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm not going through each of the books or anything like that. I just have things about Harry Potter I want to talk about.
All
So
right.
first things first, main differences between the book and the movie. Now, since I'm going through the book right now, and this happens every time I'm going through the book, there's always so many little things I forget that the movies never did that the books do a lot of.
Yeah.
So one of the main things for me that makes the books so different from the movie, and this is so jarring, I think we briefly talked about this before, is Ron's character. And Ron specifically is very different in the books than he is in the movie. And every time I go through the audiobooks, I forget that the Ron from the books is not at all the Ron from the movies. So they're 2 different people. What do you think about Ron from the movies? Like, what's the first kind of words, if you had to describe him in like 2 or 3 words, what would you think about?
The token scaredy cat.
Yeah, like scared.
Pretty much.
Scared and dumb and loyal, I think, would be like the only things I would think of. Like,
yeah, loyal for sure. I wouldn't say he's dumb per se, but I would say he's
but he's got that face where he's like always looking like duh, like during most of the movies. Like,
yeah, but that's almost because he's kind of like he's like the emotionally poor one too. Like he has like no confidence, right? And I don't think that's
right. Actually, that's a good point. He has zero confidence.
I think it's more so the lack of confidence than it is the lack of knowledge, education.
Right.
I don't think he's dumb. I don't think his character kind of portrays that. I'd say it's more about the lack of confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Ron from the books, to me, is very reactionary. He's definitely brave, like really courageous, and he's very strong. So I wouldn't say he's strong with like magic, but he's strong in general. So he's strong-willed, and he's also strong like he'd be the first to like jump into a fight, for example. So what I've noticed, and this is something that happens in every single one of the books, somebody gets attacked verbally or physically. It'll be Harry or it'll be Hermione a lot of the times. One of the characters, usually Malfoy, will say something to them or will like shoot a spell at them or something. And always, every single time, the very next character to be mentioned is Ron. Because every single time, he's the first person to say something or do something back at that person. Now, in the movies, this will be like when Ron says, "Eat slugs, Malfoy," and then shoots his wand at Malfoy, right? And then the slugs hit him, and then he just becomes like a mess throwing up slugs. In the books, this scene is so different. He is the first person to say "eat slugs," but it's because somebody said mudblood to Hermione. So then Ron, he flips, instantly is angry, and then tries to shoot a spell at Malfoy, and then it backfires and ends up spitting out slugs. Now, the whole time they're at Hagrid's hut, Ron is the one, because he's still angry, he's still steaming about this whole situation. So he's trying to tell Harry and Hermione, and through Hagrid's help, about the whole idea of mudbloods and why it makes him so angry. Because he's the one upset about it. In the movies, we get this whole scene about Hermione and how she's so sad about this whole story. But really, Hermione was kind of just quiet about it the whole time. She was the one who was attacked, and she was vulnerable. Ron's the one who's just no, this is wrong, and this is why we need to care about this. And it's it's so different to the movie Ron, because you would never see that in movie Ron. So
how about because I can't really recall a lot of the how Ron's character is in the books. I'm gonna have to reread them, or actually I put them on my list for doing audiobooks since I've read them.
They're easy with audiobooks. The Stephen Fry audiobooks are amazing. I recommend them every time. They're so good.
Before I forget, I just want to mention, so I finished reading all the Chronicles of Narnia.
Ooh, I haven't gone through those yet.
The 7th one was done by Patrick Stewart.
Oh, no way!
It was really well done. Anyway, that's a side note. We can talk about that later.
I've got to listen to those audiobooks, though. I'm going to put that on my list.
Do it.
Okay.
So yeah, in terms of Ron's character, I don't recall exactly how he's in the books, but how you're talking about his, I guess his fearlessness, really. Would you say that was kind of portrayed in the first movie at the end when he steps up to do the chess thing? He kind of realizes this is meant for me. I have to do this.
Ron's challenge at the chess match is supposed to be his it's really showing off his skills. In fact, that whole first book is really about showing everyone's skills. And the first book is actually more about Neville, Hermione, Ron, and Harry, not about Harry, Ron, and Hermione. So Neville's supposed to be the fourth, and he's barely in the movies, but in the books he's with them for most of those situations. And actually when they see the dog for the first time, Neville's with them. So it's actually it's weird that the movies kind of made it the three of them. Well, it looks like the series was supposed to be the four of them, and then it went to three of them. But anyways, regardless, you're right. Ron at the chess match is so smart and strong and brave and all that kind of stuff, and he chooses these things before the other characters see them, right? He's just okay, this is what we have to do. It's the only way you're going to get to the stone, you know? And you're right, the movie actually did not a bad job, but I honestly think it's because the actors were so young at that time. They didn't know what they were working with. And as the actors grew up a bit, they started to really fall into these cliches, and they stopped giving Ron the big bravado lines, and they gave way more of them to Hermione. Now, I don't really know why, but I feel like they gave Hermione so many lines that are not actually her lines. And actually, in the first movie there, when they get stuck in the devil's snare, there's a scene right after they get out, and Ron says something really dumb. He's like, "Lucky that plant thing was here, really," or whatever. Or he says, Lucky we didn't panic, is what he says. He's like, lucky we didn't panic. And then Harry's like, lucky Hermione pays attention in biology or whatever, right? And it's kind of a funny line in the movies, but in the books, it plays totally differently, and it plays way more to what their characters really are. So Hermione wants to get rid of the plant, and... Oh, what happens? Sorry, I'm trying to remember exactly the lines, but Hermione is trying to get rid of the plant, and she can't remember how. And then Ron says, "Are you a witch or not?" And then she goes, "Oh, right." And she uses her wand to do something, and then that gets rid of the plant for her. And then they get down there. So then, instead of Ron saying, lucky we didn't panic, he actually says, lucky you remembered you were a witch or something, right? In this moment of panic, Ron was the one who was like, "You're a witch, use your spells." But she was freaking out at the time. She was all panicked and didn't know what to do. But she was the smart enough one to be able to figure out how to get out of there. So Ron was the first one to have the bravery to tell them to do that in that moment of panic. So...
Oh, that's so interesting. So when I'm thinking back to reading the whole series, the first three, well, okay, besides from the first one, maybe the second and the third one, are the ones that are like so far from my memory, and I'm not really sure why.
Oh,
The
they're
first
so
one obviously
good.
was the most impactful because it's the first one ever. That's what, got me started. Read the second one and third one, and I didn't like the second one as much. I enjoyed the third one to an extent. Actually, I'm pretty sure I kind of just liked them gradually more and more, maybe. But I know that by the time the fourth one came out, because the first three were already released by the time I first started reading them. So when I finished the third, I was waiting for the fourth. And then each subsequent book, so the fifth, sixth, and seventh, I remember actually, I can't remember if I pre-ordered it, but I know that I would go on the day of release to pick it up.
Oh,
so
wow.
I probably did pre-order that chapters. And so that's, like back then, when those were coming out, it was such a big deal for me to get them, and that's why I would really take the time to read them like the whole summer, or all night, all that I could. I would just read.
Right.
But the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh were like the biggest ones that had they had the most impact on me, I think, because they had so much more content, or there was so much more to it than just like them being in school. But yeah, now I really want to read it all over again, because I bet there's gonna be so many other differences besides just Ron and Hermione by the sound of it.
I'm only using the Ron one because it's such an obvious example. Now there's so many others, so just imagine all your favorite characters that you know from the movies, and just picture that there's almost a different version of them from the books that was portrayed better. And then maybe at the times when we were reading the books and then watching the movie, we were using that version and projecting it on screen. But nowadays, we haven't read the books in so long. Nowadays, we haven't read the books in so long that our versions of these characters are actually the movie versions and not the versions from the book. And there's so much better characters in the book than there was on the movie. So one of the things too is like Hermione ends up with Ron. It's like spoilers for anybody who hasn't read Harry Potter in so long, but Hermione ends up with Ron. Now, why is Hermione with Ron in the movies? Because like the way I see it is like the reason she's with Ron is because the chemistry between her and Harry didn't work out. That's how I see the movies. Like it's because her and Harry are awkward that she's with Ron. Because I can't see other reasons why she's with Ron in the movies. In the books, Ron is literally her knight in shining armor. He's always the one there to protect her. So it actually makes total sense. He's also like the taller one than Harry. He's the stronger one than Harry. So like it makes sense to me that Hermione looks to Ron as like this male figure, while to Harry, like with Harry, Hermione's like it's like her brother, like somebody who's more like smart like her. She can like bicker with all the time, but they will get each other, while her and Ron they have a much better relationship in the books together, at least.
Yeah, so she sees Harry as like the hairy brother.
Yeah, exactly, the really hairy bear.
The hairy brother.
Yep.
That's a good point. Why do Ron? I guess I can't. There must be something. I can't recall seeing any kind of chemistry.
It's weird, yeah.
Like it just develops out of nowhere, right? I can recall when was it the fourth or fifth? No. Ooh.
The dance?
No, I'm thinking about after the dance. I think it was when they brought back Professor Longhorn. So that was the sixth. That was
Longhorn.
the sixth.
Slughorn.
Was it Professor Slughorn? Haha! Slughorn. Professor Slughorn. Sorry. When they bring him back, and then he introduces like in his potions class the love potion.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah,
and then doesn't
Ron gets addicted to that one chick?
Yeah, but the wrong one, right? Because like there was that one girl, the one girl like who actually has a crush on him, the one who calls him 1-1 or something.
Yeah,
like I feel like that was one of the first times we really saw Hermione was truly
in the movie,
jealous in the movie, and which was so late into the whole series.
Yeah, no, I would argue in the books we see these little things as early as like the second book. I mean, even in the first one, we see moments for like some of the characters, but like it's funny because it's told out of Harry Potter's view, so we don't really know, right? But there's like arguably little hints in even the second book between Ron and Hermione that are already ramping up to something, and it's so perfect. But I still think the first, second, third books are really, really good, and people need to give them a chance. But to move on and out of this, another main difference between the books and the movies, and this is the more obvious one between any book and movie adaptation, is that in the books we know what's going on in Harry's mind. Yeah. And that totally changes like the age and the maturity of our character. All right, so coming back into this, sorry about that, we had a bit of a recording blip, so just coming back into this now. What I was trying to say in that is the maturity of the character is seen through by little examples when you can listen to like inside their mind. I don't know.
In their hairs.
In the book, when Harry meets Colin Creevey and he does the whole
Harry met Sally.
When Harry met Colin Creevey, He's really annoying. And in the movie, Harry just kind of does like a hi, Colin, or like, hi, my name's Harry kind of thing. And like, it's just kind of like an awkward moment. And it's funny, but that's about it. In the books, you actually understand that Harry really hates Colin.
Yeah, he's just like on him like all the time.
Exactly. He's so annoyed by him. And there's other moments where like Colin's not even in the room and Harry's thinking about like one of the worst things he can think about, which happens to be Colin Creevy. It just makes it hilarious because it's relatable and it's also like you know more about Harry. So things like that are common in every book. When I watch Twilight, I assume the book is the same. When I watch Hunger Games, I assume the book is the same way. There's more happening in the book than the movie because we get the internal dialogue in their head.
But because J.K. Rowling wrote all of those.
Yeah, she did. She wrote every single one. So moving on in what I want to talk about with Harry Potter stuff. What makes the books feel so much better than the movies? Or maybe what makes the books so fun? To me, what makes the books so fun is that the books are mystery books. So to me, it's like solving a mystery. Every single one of them, there's some main theme. That's true. And the characters have to solve that theme. And actually, I find that the least interesting parts to me are when it's Harry versus Voldemort. And the more interesting parts are Harry at the school talking with his friends and trying to figure out what's going on. Because something's happening, right? Who put Harry's name in the Goblet of Fire? What's the Philosopher's Stone there for? Who opened the Chamber of Secrets? These things are fun for the characters to go through. But Harry versus Voldemort and then his parents somehow show up all the time, just not as... I'm not that interested. I don't really care as much. It's not bad. It's just not what I'm there for. I'm there for the mystery.
You're not there for love. Because that's what the book symbolizes.
Well, arguably, the Deathly Hallows, that does get really interesting how they blend that in. But before that, it's usually just these small little mysteries they're trying to solve. And I think it's really, really fun. So for me, the mystery aspect is what makes the book so good. And I think that's why Chamber of Secrets is still like my favorite mystery. Because it starts to delve into like this deeper, darker spot.
Yep.
So
I agree.
What is there anything else about the books that you think like makes them so good?
I
know it's been a while since you read them, but
I guess like it really comes down to the amount of detail that they give. Like, you know what, 4, 5, 6, and 7, like the page counts for those are like double, triple, quadruple the first 3 books, right?
Well, 4 and 5 are, but 6 and 7 start to go small again. Or 6 goes small, and then 7 goes a little bit longer.
Yeah, 5th was probably the largest book. But even still, yeah, you're right that they do. I think after the 3rd one, there's a lot less of the whole mystery and more about the progression of what is truly happening around them. Because I think at some point they kind of have to deal with it, right? Like Voldemort is around. Eventually, somebody's gonna have to deal with him.
Yeah, for sure.
But when I think of the books compared to the movies, it's just there's so much detail. And especially the 4th one, going through all those trials, all the tasks.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we lost so much of that in the 4th movie.
Yeah,
because
it should have been 2 parts.
It should have been 2 parts.
Yeah.
It really should have been.
There's just too much going on for it not to have been.
Yeah, because like, so with the 4th one, especially the way that it ended, like knowing that whole thing was really like a giant setup for Voldemort to meet Harry.
Yeah,
I think shortening it into that one movie was, like it wasn't the greatest idea. I just wish it's hard for me to really say just because I don't recall the books as much, but I would say it really just is about the amount of detail that we're lacking.
Yeah.
And I guess because we're lacking that detail and we're lacking, this is kind of inevitable, but when you read a book and like you said, like you get to know the characters' personality and maturity level a little bit more when you get to hear their thoughts.
Yeah.
Because we're lacking those a lot more in the movies, then we lose out on connecting with any of the characters that much more. That said, I'm just remembering there was that one, I think it was also in the one with Professor Slughorn, when he drinks the what's the
luck potion, what's it called, Felicities or something, I can't really remember what it's called.
Yep.
Felix something.
Is Fandangle.
Oh my god. Daniel Radcliffe in that.
When he's walking by
Hagrid's hut.
No, he's walking on the way to Hagrid's hut, and then he's talking to Professor Slughorn. Slughorn's like trimming his plants or something like that.
Yep, that's Slughorn.
And then he just asks Harry like, he's telling Harry like, he shouldn't be going out, and then Harry walks, and then Slughorn's like, Harry, Harry comes back, sir. And this is such a, like,
Sir.
it's the most uncharacteristic thing that we ever see of his character in the whole movies.
Harry takes him to Aragog's like dead corpse. And
Yeah.
Aragog's like, he was a good, or no, Slughorn's like, he was a good spider. And then Harry's like, yeah, except for the pincers. He's like, he does this like weird motion.
It was a little bit
So
overdone,
good.
but it was so
But I
kind
loved
of
it because in the book
entertaining.
that scene is so good too. So I did actually like that scene in the movie. I thought they did a good job. But that
I
gets
just
me
feel
to
like it's the place to be.
that gets me to the end of this, which is, what do you remember was your favorite book?
4.
Four.
I mean, like, I
What
want to say,
for?
I want to say 4, but I mean, like I said before, I really liked the Half-Blood Prince, the
6.
movie, but I also really, really liked the book.
Right.
But I guess my honorable mention is the 4th one, solely because we get to see Harry in a lot more action. So we get to see him a little bit. We've gotten past that whole mystery level, and now he's like Indiana Jones level. He's actually like facing things like head on physically, and I get like mixture of physically, emotionally, I guess. But I really enjoyed like all like the thought processes. Actually, it is kind of like still mystery solving, because like in the midst of like trying to figure out like why his name was picked, what he has to do to get by each of the tasks, like who he looks to for inspiration and like to educate himself to get to the next task, or however he is like.
And Mad Eye's in that one, and Mad Eye's so good.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I really, really, really like the 4th one.
Mad Eye's crazy in that one, because Mad Eye's actually not even Mad Eye. He's Barty Crouch Jr. And he's like got Polyjuice Potion the whole time. But what's crazy is Mad Eye, as the teacher that year, is so good and teaches the kids so much stuff about themselves they didn't even realize. And he tells Harry to be an Auror, or an Auror, in that one. And what's hilarious is that's what Harry wants to do, and it wasn't even like Mad Eye telling him that. It was a Death Eater telling him that, and that became his passion. So it's so weird.
Yeah. Anyway, how about you? What was your favorite book?
My favorite book by far is Half-Blood Prince. When I was a kid, it was Prisoner of Azkaban, because I love Sirius Black, and the introduction to him I thought was amazing. But Half-Blood Prince is by far the best, because it's the culmination of you going through 6 years at Hogwarts and then going through like your last and final year at Hogwarts. It should be a 7th year, but as we all know, Deathly Hallows is a totally different book. So Half-Blood Prince is the last time you get to see like the Great Hall. You get to see studying for exams. You get to see Christmas. You get to see Snape badgering them for all this kind of stuff. And then it gets really emotional by the end. And it's also more adult than the other ones. So we've got these characters really dealing with a lot of like relationship problems. Characters who don't know what they want to do in life. There's a lot of really like relatable motives in that book. Yeah. So it's this weird culmination of like growing up with these characters, and by the end of it, every single time that book ends and I've gone through it, I'm so sad, because I'm like, that's the ending of Harry Potter as I know it. And then the 7th one is not bad at all. It's just that it's so different that the 6th one feels like the real ending to me, and then the 7th one tells you the ending. So
okay, I think I can see that. The 7th one, so the Deathly Hallows. Now, was that one where like half of the book, maybe not half of the book, but like a good chunk of the book is Harry traveling with Dumbledore and trying to like figure out, like, destroy the Horcruxes?
No,
and stuff
that's
like
the 6th one. So Harry does all that while he's at school in the 6th one.
So I think that's why I really like the 6th one, actually, now that I recall, because his journey with Dumbledore, I keep wanting to say, for some reason I want to say Ganondorf.
Because it's like Gandalf.
Because it's like Gandalf, yeah. Anyway, so traveling with Dumbledore, there was so much that was brushed over in the movie, because he just appears with like his hands black and then don't really talk about it much, and then even later on they don't really explain much at all either. Yeah. And when I'm pretty sure I remember reading, like going through that moment where he is with Dumbledore and they're trying to, he's got to help Dumbledore drink the water. Yeah. Right. And I think I remember reading that, and I think I was getting teary.
Yeah, it's emotional. It's really emotional.
And I didn't get that at all from the movie. Like, no. I was not feeling it.
It's actually really well written, because for me, I've had a similar experience in real life where my mom's diabetic, type 1, and she goes into reaction. So she goes down to like a really low blood sugar, and she isn't really herself anymore. So you're trying to feed her glucose and get her back up to a regular blood sugar level. And in those moments, she starts speaking gibberish, or she doesn't know where she is, she doesn't know who you are, kind of thing. And it's this weird... I've been doing that since I was a kid for my mom. Now, reading that part in Harry Potter, it was like the exact same experience. And it's Harry trying to get, like... Yeah, no, I think Dumbledore's like crying, and he's like, I don't want to drink anymore, you know? And then Harry's like, you have to, sir. And he's like trying to feed it to him.
Yeah, you
it's
have to. Yeah.
It's so intense. And like reading that, I was just like, this is amazing. And like, I loved it. So I love that scene every time it comes up. It's really well done.
Yeah.
That's a good book. So that's my favorite book by far. For movies, my favorite movie, and I said this last time, is Chamber of Secrets. And it's mostly because of the experience I had in the theater. I really just enjoyed that. I felt the mystery. I was like really into it, and I was just like, who's the like opening up the Chamber of Secrets? I don't know why, but I forgot the book, I guess. But I didn't know who was opening up the chamber, and I was on for the ride. It was like a roller coaster ride. It was so nice. And it was also the last one with Chris Columbus, and I think he was the best director for Harry Potter. I feel like I'm the only one who thinks that, but I think he was the best. And I really wish we got to see a world where that Dumbledore never died, and Chris Columbus continued all the movies. And I think we would have had a totally different experience with the movies, because I feel like he loved the characters the way they were and wanted to make them come to life on screen the way they should have. And the other directors later on, especially the guy who did the third one, I feel like they just didn't get it, and they didn't know what they were doing. So David Yates, who later on did the movies, I feel like he sort of got it and did it the best he could, but Chris Columbus was by far the best. So Chamber of Secrets, that's my movie. What was yours?
Good old Christopher Columbus.
Exactly. Discovered America. Also made Harry Potter. Also made Goonies.
He was. Oh wow, he's a very well-rounded director.
Yeah, he is.
Cool.
Which movie was your favorite?
Probably, I think, still the sixth one, still the Half-Blood Prince.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And very last thing, super quick. Would you like to see the books continue with another series?
No.
Oh.
Well, do you mean like? Another series as in completely different characters,
For
but still in the
example,
same
like
universe?
Albus Potter and the something. Or even James Potter and the something.
If it came out, I would watch and or read it, but oh man, it's so hard to say, because like the way that it was set, it's just like, it's one of those things that I don't want it to be kind of touched, you know. I broke and still read the oh shoot, what was it called?
Cursed Child?
Cursed Child, yeah, parts 1 and 2.
God, I did not like that.
It was, I mean, it's different. It's also like it's made for Broadway,
Stage,
right?
Yeah.
And
I like to pretend it
stage.
doesn't exist, because it's really different.
It is, it's different. It's also reading it is really different, because you're reading the stage notes while you're reading the story,
but the
right?
story is so different. It's not even a
experience.
mystery. As we were saying, everything else is a mystery. The Cursed Child's not a mystery. It's like an action movie. It's weird.
It's like a Family Channel action movie. You know what I mean, right?
But no, it's weird though. It's not how Harry Potter should be, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think like, so the thing with Fantastic Beasts and everything, like those, at least like they're so far separated in some way that they don't taint your current image of Harry Potter, at least not for me. So if I were to advocate for something, it would be for a completely different set of characters. Like, it'd be the same universe, and maybe there could be like references, but it would be hard for me to watch something based on the same set of characters. I'm trying to think of some other show where, like Fuller House, for example. Like, I tried to watch that, and it was really difficult. It's because like they're trying to reboot a show using some of the same characters, but in a completely different time.
Right.
Like, modern then is different from modern now.
So you think it should just stay and capture what it was and just stay that way forever? Let sleeping dogs lie, kind of thing?
Kinda, yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings is the same thing too, right? It's not like there's been a sequel to Lord of the Rings, so...
That's true.
There's been prequels all over the place, but there's not really a sequel. And maybe that's the best. It's just leave it as it is.
Yeah. Well, Ariana wrote a song, Seven Rings. That's kind of like the sequel to Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh, I never caught on. Holy smokes, you're right.
Yeah. They just missed episodes 4, 5, and 6. It just went straight to 7. I mean, like, it's not that big of a deal, but...
Actually, Lord of the Rings was 6... this is way too nerdy. Lord of the Rings was 6 books. People don't realize that. Right. It's either one book, The Lord of the Rings, or it's 6 books, because each book, Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King, are 2 parts.
Wait, isn't it 7?
6. 2 to each.
Oh. You know, because I actually had this box set where each book was the letters of his last name, like Tolkien.
Oh. Interesting.
So I know
that might include the Silmarillion, though. It might be Silmarillion, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings.
no. It didn't include The Hobbit for sure.
Might be
Silmarillion,
Silmarillion, because people don't know this, but
maybe the
Silmarillion
Silmarillion.
is actually a sequel to...
Yeah.
Sorry, Lord of the Rings is a sequel to Silmarillion. So the Lord of the Rings is actually not even a standalone book. It's actually supposed to be a sequel to the Silmarillion. Now, you don't need to read the Silmarillion, but it is a sequel to it. But anyways, yeah, there's 6 books. So when I go through the audiobooks every time, it always confuses me when it's like book 3. And then it's like starting off at 2 towers. I'm like, that's weird.
Right.
And then it's like book 5. I'm like, what? It's like Return of the King. And I'm like, this is weird. Okay, so I am done now. I'm sorry. I've taken up a lot of time talking about Harry Potter. So let's move on.
All good.
I would like to talk about this next thing, which is the Wheel of Scum!
Scum, 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 scum.
Just putting it on the screen for anybody who's wondering what's going on. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Anth0z. Okay, so the Wheel of Scum is... I say something here normally, don't I?
Yeah.
Where do I say it? I don't even know where my notes are. Where do I
You say something like, Anth0z, cue the music.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Okay, sorry. I thought I had like a spiel I said about the Wheel of Scum, but I guess I don't. Anth0z,
probably do, but I don't really
cue
listen.
the music. On the Wheel of Scum, we have 6 different games that we get to play in our little like intermission thing in the middle of the show. So here on the Wheel of Scum, very first thing that we can play is Pirate Adventure. Second thing is I Can't Believe It's Not Better. Third thing is Crossover, Crossbover. Fourth, Tit for Tat from Anth and Matt. Fifth, Who Wants to Be a Scum Billionaire? And 6, Swashbuckler. Anth0z, spin the wheel.
Click!
Alright, Anth0z, let's see what you get on today's Wheel of Scum.
Could we get that new one?
I don't
Wait,
know.
there's 2 new ones? There's 1 or 2?
There's actually
one?
2 new
There's
ones.
2 new.
Two
Right.
new ones. We got rid of Haunting Tale of Woe, and we got rid of Shakespeare in a BR. Ooh,
Right.
It's Tit for Tat from Anth and Matt. In this
Cool.
game, one person must name something using one word. The other player must finish the 2-parter with a separate word. For example, one could say Tim, and the other person may say Burton.
Interesting.
Interesting. So Anth0z, why don't you take it away and just tell me any word, and I will finish that word with another word.
Okay. John.
Wick.
Nice. Cool.
All
I
right,
was
here we
going
go.
for dough, but yeah, Wick is good.
Here we go. Glass.
Jar. This is going...
Oh, wow. I did not see that coming. Okay, go ahead.
I feel like I could have done better. Okay. Cell.
Shaded.
Whoa. Whoa. Where's your brain? Cool.
I don't know. What were you thinking I was
Wow.
going to say?
Phone.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was thinking cell shaded, like video game.
This is like testament to like
Wow.
how outside of the box we think.
Apparently, yeah.
Like I never think I never think simple. I just can't.
Okay, here we go. Star.
Wars.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Cool. Was that at least what you were thinking?
I actually didn't know where you were going to go with it. It shocked me. It was happy.
Okay.
I was happy.
I want to think of something that'll just throw you off. A dog.
Dog. Bag. That's all I can think of, to be honest.
It's like the ghetto version of a doggy bag. It's just dog bag.
Alt.
Right. Oh.
Oh.
Interesting.
Oh, you went there, not me.
I don't know why I said that. Oh.
Don't know why she swallowed a fly. Go
I
ahead.
take no stance in this podcast. Poke.
Mart.
Okay.
Niche.
Niche. I wanted to say niche. Niche.
There you go, niche. That's your word.
All right. Okay. Scissor.
Rock. Scissor rock. Tony.
Award.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Light.
Bulb. Yeah.
Cool.
It's
All right.
just it's what my brain
that's
wanted
fine.
to say, so it's what my brain said.
That's okay.
Tooth.
Ache.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to say less, but no, you said
I
ache.
was gonna say fairy actually, but ache
Oh,
just
wow,
came out
nice.
of my mouth.
Cool.
I don't know why.
Right?
Okay. Plug.
Bug.
Okay.
Hair.
Repotter.
Okay, give us the last one, Anth0z.
Okay. Cheese.
Please. Because honestly,
hey,
please, I would love some cheese.
Cool.
I would always
Aw.
love some cheese.
That's nice.
I also
This
would
is
have
nice.
accepted head, cheese head.
Cheese head?
Yeah. I'm not really a football guy, but when I was a kid, I used to like the Green Bay Packers, and people called them cheeseheads. Also, the
Did they?
Dutch were called cheeseheads.
Oh, they wore yellow helmets.
They did, yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
I see.
Why don't you tell us a little thing I like to call topic number 2?
I was hoping you were gonna drink your glass and then gurgle while you were trying to
It's just
speak.
drown as I...
Have you ever played Jenga where you have to do like truth or dare, like
No.
based on whatever you pick?
No.
So there's this one where
No.
if you pick it, you have to. I'm listening. I hear you. It tells you to. You have to make other people guess it, otherwise you lose.
Oh.
You have to gurgle like whatever song is written on that thing.
Oh.
So you have to drink. Well, I think you're supposed to like you have like a beer or something. So you're supposed to gurgle the beer, and you're supposed to gurgle the tune of a song, and people are supposed to get it.
Okay.
It's a dangerous game. Play
Apparently.
it.
I might. I might
Cool.
play it.
All right, so my topic can be on the quick side because it's more of a fun little game. It's kind of like I don't know why I just like to choose the fun little games as my topics because I
like them. They're fun.
Cool.
Let's go for
All
it.
right. So this topic is switch Marvel and DC actors.
Switch
actresses.
and flick.
Switch and flick.
Okay, so we're gonna switch Marvel and DC actors.
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
give me an example.
No, you do it.
Oh,
As in like just pick. So I don't know. Pick. Okay, let's just pick Superman.
okay.
Okay, so
Like
the
Superman
most
from the
recent,
movies we know him in.
yeah from the most recent universes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Right. So Henry Cavill.
I like Cruella DeVille a little bit better. Henry Cavill, Henry Cavill.
Okay, so if you could switch him out for a DC actor.
Yep, for a Marvel
and-
actor.
Sorry, if you could switch him out for a Marvel actor. So therefore, Henry Cavill will play
Something else.
a Marvel actor,
Yeah.
which you traded
Yeah.
with a DC actor
Yeah,
to be Superman.
I already know. Are we supposed to go for funny or for realistic?
Whatever you feel like.
Okay, the one.
Whatever makes sense to you.
If I was a studio exec and I'm trying to make money here, and I had to do this decision,
Yeah.
and let's say these movies hadn't really come out yet, and I had to go back in time and make this decision, the decision I would make would be Henry Cavill switched with Chris Evans, because Henry
Really?
Cavill could easily play Captain America and Chris Evans could easily play Superman, in my opinion. But I think that's how it could happen.
What? Okay.
Yes,
well,
Henry Cavill as
yeah.
Captain America being like, "Stop, citizen!" Like I could see that so easily.
Okay.
And then like Chris Evans being Superman and just flying and looking noble, I could also see really easily. So both
That's
of
funny.
those I think are pretty similar.
It's funny because like Chris Evans, so being like the blonde stud kind of hero guy. I forgot. Have you seen or did I talk to you about The Boys on Prime Video yet? With
No.
Carl Urban and so the synopsis. I'll just give like a brief thing, just without spoiling stuff. But like, there's a group of superheroes, but they're kind of like on like the uncontrollable side.
The bad
Anyway, so-
side. We're the bad side.
Yeah, they're the bad heroes. So yeah, the main guy who's kind of like the pivotal like Superman character. He's kind of like that cute blonde kind of guy, which I feel like would have been portrayed after like the Chris Evans Captain America character.
Right.
But okay, that's not bad. Yeah. Did you just say that because they both were blue and red?
No,
As,
I
like,
never
their
thought about that. I
outfits?
was just thinking about like personalities, and I find Captain America and Superman to be fairly similar. Although I like Captain America a lot better.
Okay.
But man, if Henry Cavill played Captain America and Marvel still wrote Captain America, I feel like he'd knock it out of the park.
Interesting.
Okay,
Okay.
you go ahead now. You go now. You go
Okay.
now.
Well, okay, I gave you I picked the movie and like one character for you. So why don't you pick the movie or pick the character for me?
Okay, you have to
then-
replace Spider-Man with someone from. I'll give you anything from DC.
Well, that's how this goes.
Okay, well then replace Spider-Man with anyone from DC.
Okay. So Spider-Man, so we have Tom Holland. Tom Holland in DC. I feel like Tom Holland could do. Oh man, if only Tom Holland was older, I feel like he could do like a good Riddler, but Riddler hasn't even really been introduced.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I don't know why. I can see him being that kind of like Riddler kind of character.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know why. Like he's on the younger side, but he's definitely got this kind of like that quirky delivery.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he could energetic it up.
Yeah, I like that.
But then that would mean I would be taking the Jim Carrey Riddler, which means Jim Carrey would then be Spider-Man, which I mean, okay, I guess he could be. He's kind of like the Jim Carrey would be more like a good Carnage, but let's just say Jim Carrey is Spider-Man, but he's the current age Jim Carrey as Spider-Man.
Right.
So, but he's in the multiverse teaching Miles Morales how to be a real Spider-Man.
Oh, nice.
Now, can you
Good
picture
twist.
that? Now,
yes.
can you picture it?
I actually can. I can picture that. That's not bad.
I don't know if that was the best one, but that's okay.
That's not bad. I can picture that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, shoot.
Okay. Mark Ruffalo, Hulk.
Ooh, the ruffle muffle.
The Ruffler.
The Ruffler. Ruffle chips. Okay. So Mark Ruffalo Hulk with anyone from DC?
Anyone from DC.
Okay, somebody else from DC has to play the Hulk.
And okay, we don't have to do the whole thing where they switch characters, but it could even just be as simple as like, I think like this actor from Marvel would be better suited for this character of DC. It doesn't have to be like
That's fine.
switch the characters altogether.
I have my pick. Christian Bale, who played Batman for DC. Christian Bale would be such a good Bruce Banner. Now, I could care less about the Hulk because the Hulk is a CGI mess, but Bruce Banner is what matters. And Christian Bale would play an awesome, awesome Bruce Banner who would actually care about more, who would actually be able to have these conversations with people and sound composed, a little bit nerdy, but just smart and trying to keep it together, you know? And like, you know how we saw Edward Norton play Bruce Banner? That's how Christian Bale will be playing Bruce Banner. And that's the Bruce Banner I want to see a lot more of. And not this weird Mark Ruffalo Banner that we see that I'm not a fan of. I want to see a much more composed and intense, frustrated, and trying to hold it together kind of Bruce Banner. I want to see Jekyll and Hyde, you know? I want to see somebody who's like not sure of what's going to happen next, but he's trying his hardest to just be himself.
Cool.
So, Christian Bale.
All right.
That's my lock in.
I do like that choice. I could see him. I don't know. Like he's got this like inner rage about him that already makes him feel like he's exuding Hulk.
Inner rage.
Inner rage. Yeah.
Inner rage.
It's his inner Bale.
I'm gonna throw a weird one for you. Spoilers for Dark Knight Rises. So, Ra's al Ghul's daughter is in Dark Knight Rises, and it's played by some chick. So you now need to recast that chick with somebody from the Marvel or the MCU universe.
Peggy Carter.
Oh, why is that? That was quick.
I think she's just got this really kind of like slick charisma kind of character, like, or characteristic. And so Peggy Carter from Captain America, she was like, I think she's kind of meant to be this like I don't care about what you men think attitude,
right?
Kind of character. Which Peggy Carter, or shoot, what's her name?
Ra's al Ghul's daughter?
Haley Atwell, sorry. So Haley Atwell, like the actor for Peggy Carter, I think she does a good job, but I feel like whoever plays I don't remember her name. Whoever plays Ra's al Ghul's daughter, it's too many names. I can picture her actually kind of like the character that she has in that, where she's like, she's a little bit more gritty, if you know what I mean. And I feel like that could kind of like really suit the character for Agent Carter as well. Otherwise, if I didn't, I would switch her up with Agent Hill.
Robbie Coulson or something?
Oh, Colby Smulders? Robbie Coulson.
Robbie Coulson. Yeah, that's I don't know why I thought that, but for some reason it was Robbie Coulson. Maybe Agent Coulson and then Robin from How I Met Your Mother. Robbie Coulson.
That's right.
But that doesn't make sense. Colby Smulders. I probably knew it when like ended in an IE, so I just thought it was Robbie. I don't know why I thought Coulson.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch this up a little bit because I'm trying to think of one and I can't really.
Uh-oh.
I'm not really sure.
Uh-oh.
Who do you think would be a better DC character? Or sorry, who do you think would be a good DC actor to play Thor? And this could be. It doesn't have to be from the current universe of DC, but it can be from.
Oh, you know what? You know who would play a good Thor? The dude who plays Aquaman. The dude who plays Aquaman would be a good Thor.
And he played Aquaman in Smallville.
Did he?
Didn't he? He did. Yeah, he did play Yeah, he was Aquaman in Smallville.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry.
No,
I'm
the
thinking
dude
of
who played
else.
Aquaman
Never.
in the DC Justice League.
Jason Momoa.
Momoa. So Moana would be great as Thor. So he's got like as we know from Game of Thrones, he can play like an emotional, very serious character, and that's what I was really hoping Aquaman was going to be more of. This really like intense dude who like didn't speak much English, but instead spoke some kind of fish language. So I think if he was playing Thor, we'd get less of a kooky Thor and more of like a very serious and emotionally driven Thor, which we had in like the first couple of Thor movies, which I liked better. And I want more of that. So I think we would have had that more with Jason Momoa, and maybe more believable. Who knows? This is the what if game. So
okay, now what would you think if Jason Momoa played Loki?
Oh, we have a really badass Loki, one that like was two-faced and yet also could kill you.
You could squish you.
Yeah, squish. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Sure.
Are you ready for this?
All right. Here, last one.
You need to cast,
oh boy,
from anyone in the Marvel Universe, the next Green Lantern.
Ooh. The next Green Lantern from anyone in the Marvel universe. Like any of the actors still, right?
Mm-hmm.
So going that route? Okay. Scarlett Johansson. Nope.
And it's still a dude.
Oh, wow. Does it have to be? I guess it has to be. Green Lantern.
No, you can do whatever you want. It's your game.
Oh, man. Chris Pratt would have been an awesome Green Lantern.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Oh. I mean, he practically was Green Lantern in the Guardians 2. If you think about it, like towards the end, right? He was
you're right.
He was channeling that like
Chandler.
He was chandlering. Yeah, he was chandlering his Bing. And
could I be any more of a channeler?
Yeah, I would go Chris Pratt. He's just
that's a good choice.
I think because
I would watch that movie.
I feel like just while he's trying to make his constructs, you would see his face like kind of contorting, and I can see Chris Pratt's face contorting while he's trying to think of those constructs. I think Chris Pratt would be a great choice for Green Lantern.
Me too.
Thank you, Anth0z. Thank you for that one.
You're
I
just
liked
speaking
it.
to yourself, but yeah, me too, Anth0z. Good job. Well deserved.
You did it.
Pat yourself on the back. You already did. Well, good job.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool.
I like that game.
right.
That was a fun game.
Well, thanks for humoring my games instead of topics.
Yeah, I like to humor your humor.
Thanks.
All right. Well, without further ado, Anth0z, where can the audience... Goodbye.
Oh, you got it.
Where can the audience find you?
You can find me not in Austria.
Oh, no, not there.
Nope, not in Vienna.
No,
in
not there
Salzburg.
either. Nope.
Right online on Twitter at Anth0z1. That's at ANTH0Z1.
And if you want to find me, you can find me at Mattbrush Gaming on Twitter, or you can find me at Mattbrush Gaming on YouTube, where we put this podcast in video form for your eyeball pleasure. But if you want to listen to this with your earball pleasure, like most other people, you can use a podcast platform. So any of your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify or the iTunes or Podbean is what I use. Any of those, just search the Scumm Bar Podcast, and we are one click away from greatness. That's
Now,
what
how
we
about-
say every time.
What if they want to experience it with their mouth balls?
Well, that's just not available yet. One day, we'll give you the taste of the Scumm Bar Podcast, but until then, you're going to have to listen. Now, if you want to contact us, you can email us at thescummbarpodcast@gmail.com, or you can comment on our videos or any of our podcasts from your platforms. Leave us a rating or a review. Tell us what you think about the show, and let us know if there's anything you would like to see in the show. We'd love to hear from you all. So, thank you so much for listening. And Anth0z, I believe there's something you prepared for us today. This is unorthodox, I know, but here we go, Anth0z. What do you got going for us?
When the time is right, you will always know which door to take and which step to head towards first. and next, and last, and backwards if you need, but never sideways, and always forward. Thanks.
I don't even know what that is. I'm not even gonna take the time to look it up. I'm done. I'm out of here. Goodbye.
Good night.